Hey YouTube, my name is Dan and welcome to my fish room. So welcome back to those guys who've been following along. It's been a bit of a mixed week this week. We've had some deaths in the fish room, which is unfortunate but probably was kind of inevitable. I'll talk to that in just a second. It is part of the hobby, not a pleasant part, but it is part of it. Outside of that, everybody's doing pretty well. But yeah, so a bit of a mixed bag this week, I must say. The big one being that we had some deaths from the Discus tank. Two of my Discus actually passed away. They had, and what I suspect, and 99.99% certain, is heximata, I believe it's called. I've never actually heard it spoken out loud. Hex, which is a prelude to hole in the head. Not surprising. When we moved home from where I was living before to here, they probably got a little bit neglected during the moving process and stayed in some water that was a little bit dirty. And I had been noticing a few little bits and pieces over the last sort of 6 months that we've been living here. Have been treating for worms and a few other bits and pieces. And then, yeah, the plan was to actually treat the whole tank for hex. Found these guys were looking really sick. Moved them out into a hospital tank, but one of them was just obviously too weak and actually passed away not long after I put it into the hospital tank, and then the other one actually followed suit, which is, yeah, pretty upsetting. I'm trying not to think about it too much, otherwise I will get quite upset. I've been very attached to these guys for a long time, as I have with all my fish, but I've had these guys the longest now. It's just part of the hobby, and it's not a fun part by any means. Could I have done better? Definitely. Could I have picked up on it sooner? 100%. We live, we learn, and I just sort of, I think we all kind of try to, you know, as we go forward in the hobby, try to keep ourselves accountable and just make sure that, well, you know, if I missed a step or something this time, that's not going to happen in the future. So these guys are all looking really healthy in here now. So I have my 8 Discus remaining. I've got some medication for hex coming in the post, which should be here in a couple of days, and I'll put the whole tank just through a treatment for that. No one else has any symptoms. Everyone else is looking good. So yes, that is the plan. These guys are going to get a whole treatment. I'll probably do a double dose in terms of it's a 3-day treatment, wait 6 days, and then do another 3-day treatment. Because I actually have a breeding pair of Discus coming that are arriving on Friday. They're going to be in their own isolation tank for about a month anyway, which is good practice. I usually don't with Discus because I get them all from the same place and they have a very stringent quarantine setup, and I'm very happy and trust the quality of the Discus I get from those guys. But it's actually now in the opposite, in that I want to protect the new Discus coming in from any potential stuff that's in here. On top of that, I have just stepped up the water change game with these guys as well. So they're now getting 100% water change on Sundays, and then they get a 50% water change every other day after that. So basically it's about 250% water change over the course of 7 days, give or take. So hopefully that will bad actually, but it is part of the hobby and we just have to kind of learn from it and move on.
Okay, so annoyingly the audio didn't come out for this video, and I actually just thought it was pretty good just to jump in and show you guys now. So this is what I found when I got up on Sunday morning. Ziggy here had these little growths coming out of his head, and he's got some more on the other side. Not sure where I'm going with the camera here. And then we had Big Mac here, who used to be big and thick and chunky, who had just been kind of getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And yeah, it's one of those ones. Oh, I'm pointing here because Bananarama was quite thin as well at one point, and after I thought it was worms, and so I treated the tank with worms a couple months back, and since then Bananarama has been getting nice and thick. It was never as big as thick as say Betty or Co. Some strains are thicker than others, but that was where I was like, okay, must be worms. And then anyway, I noticed this thing just pop up, and yeah, and then it just actually got worse after I sort of stopped recording this and put that all down. Which I did a bit of research and checked in with some groups, and yeah, it's hex, you know, and it looks like Ziggy, the red one, is actually getting sort of hole in the head beginnings. So I decided to take these two out, and they're going to put them into a hospital tank. And the idea was that I would, treat the hospital tank and then just monitor the main tank, as is kind of the recommendation for this stuff. Obviously, as I've sort of said, the idea was that that didn't quite work out as I'd moved them. I realised they were both, one of them was quite weak, and then the other one just didn't seem super duper happy with the move. I'm not sure if it was the increase in temperature, maybe it was the strain on the system, especially if it was a little bit more advanced. So yeah, so basically that's what I did, moved the two of them out, and I think I'm going to show that in a second. So yeah, but one of the struggles I actually had was I didn't actually have any spare tanks, which is a lesson that I keep having to learn or relearn. Always make sure you have a spare tank ready to go at a moment's notice, because I had to do a lot of I had to move Knifey McSpoony into the Mini Monster Grow Out tank so I could free up that tank, and had to do a big old clean, and it was just, you'll see it in a little bit. I did a time lapse, and it was just a lot of work, and I was obviously very stressed and worried for these two. And like I said, I've actually then decided to treat the whole tank now. I have the medicines coming, and I'm just actually going to do their big water change and then treat the tank. And it's a like I said, it's a 3-day course, and I'll probably give them their little rest of, I think it's like 6 days, and then do it again just to make sure. All the research shows with Hex, as long as you sort of take away the things that are causing the issues, like probably the dirty water, a little bit stressed, etc., they should be fine. And this is kind of what I'm seeing with the other fish, like Bananarama, who's really kind of come up good, like was getting thin. It was actually the first one I noticed was getting a bit skinny, but is fattening up well, eating well, being healthy. So yeah, that's just what I have to trust, that's the case. I've spoke to a few experts, or more of an expert than me, and they sort of all agree. And I think at this stage, normally it would just be a treat the sick fish in the hospital tank, but I think just for the sake of it, I'm just gonna, for peace of mind, I'm just gonna treat the whole tank, especially as I do have those 2 new fish coming in soon. That I just want to make sure that they're gonna be okay. So yep, this tank looking good, just had a water change, needs a bit of a top up, but overall very happy with it. I will show you guys some of the work I've been doing from the last video, but I'll do that another time. I thought just for a bit of fun though, we'll just, it's basically dinner time for the fish room, so I thought maybe we'd just go around and I'll give everyone dinner and sort of share that with you guys. So yeah, let's crack into that. All right, so dinner time for Mini Monster Tank. I do mix this up. They get fed 2 to 3 times a day. Tonight they're just having some freeze-dried blackworms. Frankie the Oscar is the issue here, so I have to make sure they get some food first at one end, and then I chuck some food into the other end. So they're pretty hand tame at this stage, so they know the little tap tap. So Frankie will just take that right out of my hand. The rest of them can have one over here. And then, as Musi is very keen and aware, Musi then gets one just up here. And they should be able to go and take that. And then Musi is actually starting to take that out of my hand as well now. So
right, guys, we'll leave it there for this week. Thank you so much for watching, as always. If you can please like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that sort of stuff. It really helps the channel out. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone who left a comment last week. It was really nice to chat with you guys. Like I said, bit of a sad kind of up and down week. Excuse me. Like I said, I always just try to learn from any mistakes that may have happened, whether they're directly my fault or indirectly. I'm happy with the plan of tech I have for the Discus. They're looking happy and healthy. And yeah, this is just all part of the hobby, right? You know, it's kind of why we love it. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.